guys, welcome once again to the Raj Kaul Podcast. And as you can probably see, I've still got my mustache if you're watching on YouTube. But this episode's going to be on the 3rd of December, so it'll be too late for you to sponsor. So because I was doing it for November, so by that time I should have my beard back. And Pally's laughing, who's my next guest, Pally Matharu. How you doing, bro?
Hey Raj, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thanks. So, dude, I'm gonna say it straight up. I didn't know about you until like when I contacted you. I thought, wow,
Yeah.
this guy's music's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah.
To be fair, and your whole guitar reels and stuff are really really cool. So this is Pally Matharu. So guys, those of you who don't know about him, honestly, I think we're gonna be in for a masterclass in music and stuff. But I can tell he's a bit humble. You can do. So tell me about yourself, Ali. Where are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Birmingham. So I'm a musician and producer. Been doing music now for been about 10 years now.
Cool, man.
Perform at loads of weddings and events, mainly guitar and piano. So that's kind of like my main background. And then I also produce music as well. Just released an EP. So yeah, just pretty much love music. I'm just a music guy, to be fair.
Cool, man. Where about Birmingham are you from?
I'm from King's Heath. Yeah, King's Heath.
I'm from Sutton. I live in
Oh,
Sutton.
yeah.
Not too far.
Yeah, quite far from King's Heath.
Yeah. So, okay, how you look a lot younger in person than your reels and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm say. Look like a teenager now.
Oh, that's compliment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, how did you get into music? Where did all this start?
To be honest with you, I've started quite late. Always loved music as a teenager, like growing up. But I was kind of really, really shy. So I would always be like quite not afraid, but just too shy to say I want to learn an instrument or I like music. And then I think I was about 17, and I got an iPod for my birthday, and from there I just downloaded as many songs as I could, like loads of different genres, Bhangra, R&B, pop, hip hop, and I would just like listen and analyze. And I found myself analyzing music and not like listening to it, just analyzing it, like how is this made? And then I would go and check like who's wrote this song, who's produced it. I was always interested in that kind of stuff. And then I think it was when I was about 20, I bought myself an acoustic because I always had an interest in guitar. Like I've always loved guitarists like Jimi Hendrix, Prince, those guys. I've always looked up to people like that. And then I bought myself a second-hand acoustic guitar. And I remember I had one lesson, and I'm not really good with like music lessons, so I just kind of taught myself on YouTube.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, so I taught myself how to play the acoustic guitar, but it was more electric guitar I always had fascination with. So then I moved to electric guitar, and then I've just pretty much been learning YouTube tutorials, learning myself.
So can I stop you? Because
Yeah,
okay, so like this music podcast is about musical excellence. The fact that you've learned from YouTube or yourself, I know people do that,
yeah,
but I'm fascinated by it because I'm a kind of person who needs a teacher
yeah.
myself. I
Okay.
actually need like sort of
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
my mind works like that in the sense of it needs structure.
yeah.
So how did you start off with YouTube? What did you do? Just tell me about that. Like how did you sort of did you search guitar? Because the problem with YouTube I find there's so much it's
Yeah,
over information at times.
yeah, yeah.
You know, what I mean,
So
so much. Yeah, after you.
yeah, so when I learned the acoustic guitar, it was just like I would literally go from scratch. So I wanted to know the notes, each note, each string, like what is it, E, A, G. I needed to know that, and then I wanted to learn chords. So I'd learn like the simple chords, then try and strumming patterns. So I would search like videos for like guitar chords to learn or strumming patterns to learn, and that's how I kind of started off. But as then I picked it up just that I wanted to learn by ear. So then I would just literally sit down with the guitar and just try and figure out like scales and patterns myself, and then just literally try and do it by ear. And I found that more productive than because like you said, searching for videos on YouTube, there's so much information you
Yeah.
don't know which one to look at. So that I kind of took that route as well.
That's pretty cool, to be fair. Pretty, really, really impressive. Because I've heard your solos and stuff. They're like fantastic. Like some of the songs you've done. We'll talk about your music later, but
yeah,
gosh, so you've let that off the cuff sort of thing.
yeah, and I think it's just like by watching videos of people like Prince, for example, who's just like a master musician.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so like people like that kind of just inspires you, but and you kind of hear their sound and you try and sometimes like imitate it in a kind of way, like kind of obviously they're perfectionists, so you try and get that perfect sound as well.
Well, you've said two names there, like Jimi Hendrix and Prince.
Yeah,
it's just they're like world class on
yeah,
another level, aren't they?
yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was into my as I said, this is I don't want this to be like a very formal interview. So
Yeah.
I'm going to chat to you about nonsense. So
Cool,
so I'm into my sort of 80s rock as well, like Bon Jovi, Journey, and stuff like that. So yeah, I do like guitar. And I do try and practice when I get a chance. I'm mainly a vocalist.
yeah, okay, wicked.
So I do like Indian classical reels and bits and bobs, stuff like that. But so I do practice guitar, and I used to do it during lockdown and stuff. We used to have these meetings, and so you mute, and the meetings have like nothing to do with you. So I'm just practicing changing chords, but my hands never got fast enough.
Yeah.
So we'll move from A to. What advice would you give me if you had to give me?
So I used to, when I used to practice guitar, I used to set my timer on my phone for like a minute, and they're called like sort of like chord changes. So your hands like changing positions.
Yeah.
So say if I'm moving from an E minor chord to a C major, I would keep repeating that for a minute, just like until the stopwatch stops. Same thing, and it's just like you just keep practicing repetition, then you get quicker, you put a metronome on, speed the tempo up, do it to the beat as well, so you're always getting your timing right as well.
Hi guys, this is Raj Kaul. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you want to support the rest of my music, if you could go and check me out on Spotify, on Apple Music, and add my songs to your playlists if you like them. Thank you. There's a guy who I follow. I think his website, Justin Guitar. He teaches like that.
Oh yeah. Actually, I've seen some of his stuff as well. Like when I was first starting to play.
Yeah, all his stuff's free as well. Do you know that? Like Justin Guitar.
It shows you everything, like blues scales, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So one of my band members, one of my best friends, he's a guitarist as well. Now said his name. He's a great guitarist as well.
Yeah.
Like yourself. So he does all my guitar work for me, like when we do live sets and stuff. So we've been on radio and stuff and that. So okay, so from there, you're learning music, and at what point did you become proficient at it? Was there a point?
I don't think anyone. I think music, you're always learning. To be fair, I don't think you can ever get fully, like even now, like I'm always learning.
But that's why I use the word proficient rather than a master.
I think I started to get like a bit more confident when I started to do gigs at weddings. So I started to play a lot of weddings and events, and that kind of like learning songs.
Tell me about that. Tell me about your wedding stuff. I find you really interesting, Pally. Honestly, like that's why I'm asking you so many questions, because I'm excited. Like I find you really, really interesting, especially because you're doing stuff which you've done this off your own back, and it's quite a brave thing to do, to put yourself out there in weddings and stuff. So how did that come about?
Well, to be fair, my family's in the wedding industry, so it was in terms of that kind of stuff. They do like wedding decorations and all that kind of stuff. So it was kind of like, and my dad's been in that industry for like 20 years. So it was kind of like, when I first I didn't actually want to play at weddings. I used to learn songs at home, and dad used to hear me. And one of the first weddings that I'd done was, I think he knew the guy, and he said that like my son's gonna and my son play and stuff. So it's kind of like a free thing. But I remember that one. I was really nervous. But it was just like picking up, like doing loads of gigs, and from there, just picked up. I got my confidence and just started posting videos on Instagram, and the people started inquiring to play guitar at weddings and stuff like that. So yeah, we're just learning Bollywood songs. Obviously, everyone like kind of like when there's weddings, drinks, receptions, they like that soft Bollywood music.
Yeah.
Or I'd kind of learn Bollywood songs, play guitar, and then when lockdown came, then I had a little piano in my front room. So then I started learning that as well. And then since lockdown, I've been doing a lot more piano gigs lately as well. So then I taught myself to play the piano.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Just well, I wouldn't say I think I prefer guitar more, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love music, to be fair. So all the time I'm just trying to learn stuff in it, to be honest with
Really
you.
cool. Well, to be fair, I'm learning piano at the moment. I'm learning like from a proper teacher and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm getting there. I've only had about 10 lessons or so.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely instrument. So especially if you're singing as well, it's nice to play while you're.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why we've always had a piano in the living room, but I've just bought one for my studio room here. So yeah, so I'm practicing on that. At the moment, I'm playing "Lean on Me" by Bill Withers.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, playing that and a few other songs and "Amazing Grace" as well.
yeah, okay,
Yeah, so those are the tracks I'm learning at the moment, and
yeah,
scales and stuff. So,
yeah,
so it's quite because the thing is I'm taught in Indian music, so it's quite I find it quite interesting the way it's basically you're looking at two different thought processes, and
yeah,
how they come together. Like let's say you've got like a minor harmonic scale,
yeah.
and then you've got the equivalent in Indian classical, like the parts and stuff. Have you ever looked at the Indian side of it?
To be honest, not really. If I'm being honest with you, like the
That's okay.
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just honestly, when I'm like making music and composing, I've just obviously, yeah, you know your theory kind of stuff like scales and whatnot, but to be honest with you, scales wise, I just go by whatever sounds good to my ear, to be honest with you. That's how that is to me. But I think it's always good to learn scales and
Yeah.
learn in scales as well, because it's a good advantage to have
Yeah,
as well.
it's the foundation of it, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
But I think when I was learning guitar, it was more like blues scales and like
yeah,
pentatonic. Is it pentatonic scale?
yeah, pentatonic scales, yeah.
So I think that was the kind of stuff that sounded good to my ear, and so I just
Because most of the pop songs are in pentatonic scale,
that,
weren't they? Yeah.
yeah. So and like obviously some of the songs only have some of the most famous songs in the world just have three chords.
Yeah.
Get repeated.
Did you ever see that video? Was it about Ed Sheeran when he played every song in three chords?
Yeah, that's what I mean. And he can write a song with any four chords. That's all you need.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool, man. So you know what I find about weddings. I'm gonna add a bit of controversy here. So
yeah,
I don't do many weddings and stuff because I find as a singer you become background noise sometimes.
yeah.
I find that like
I mean, yeah, there has been some weddings where you can find that you just like kind of there filling the empty, the quiet sound and stuff like
yeah,
that. I think for singers, yeah, I think for as a singer, you need a spotlight. So when everybody's like sitting down and paying attention.
yeah,
I mean, at the start of a wedding, if you're singing, sometimes people are not paying too much attention. But I think with instrumental music, that's where it comes handy because it's just like nice, creates a nice chilled
yeah.
atmosphere.
I've seen your videos or like your videos, like some of your guitar reels. Um, they're a bit more lively than Bollywood stuff. There are some wicked solos and stuff you're playing.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could do that at weddings, but I think sometimes it's not like the softer Bollywood songs as well, and like
Yeah.
wedding appropriate songs and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, so what kind of music you into? Sort of.
To be honest, growing up, it was just like pop, R&B, funk music. Love Michael Jackson, Prince.
I've got a
Um,
thing to say about Michael Jackson because I knew
yeah,
you liked Michael Jackson because your first song, which one was it? Was it All I Want Is You?
Yeah, that was with the English vocalist. Yeah, yeah,
I could tell that the riffs in there were Quincy Jones riffs,
yeah.
that kind of vibe.
I was trying to go for an R&B vibe on that one. I
But
like
I
to.
can see your Jacko influence straight in there.
I think because growing, obviously, he's probably one of the best, isn't he? So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
just passed away recently. So one of the greatest composers, producers that we've ever seen. So yeah, so like you just try and learn for what those people do, don't you?
No, it's so good. I was telling my wife earlier that I says I'm interviewing a guy called Pally, and I says, you know what? I listened to his music. I thought, man, this is really good, especially because you brought that kind of music into Bhangra,
Mm,
especially the guitar stuff, the riffs you bring in. It's almost like you bring in like 80s pop, Jacko, Quincy Jones style with Bhangra, and it's like I don't know whether you envisioned that, but that's what I got from your music.
yeah, yeah. I think that's exactly what I try and do. I love funk music and like the bass lines. Like when you listen to Thriller, for example, you hear them riffs and the bass lines and that, and that's the kind of stuff that stands out to me. So it just naturally comes out like that. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I'm really honestly, I was so impressed because I think this day and age, you find in music, you find it becomes really generic. So your music is honestly a breath of fresh air
Thank
to
you, man.
my ears, anyway. Honestly, I'm not just saying that. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you might say, honestly, I really enjoyed your music. I did All I Want Is You to my playlist.
Oh, wicked.
That's on my playlist, like the
Thank
one I listen to sort of on a daily. So that's on there straight away because I was so impressed by your music. Yeah,
thank you very much.
yeah. So okay, so you learn piano. Did you learn piano the same way as well?
Um, just a couple of YouTube tutorials as well, and then just I think once I learned when I was learning guitar, I saw the guitar as shapes and patterns. So when I would do chord shapes,
Yeah, yeah.
scales, shapes, and patterns, so I kind of just applied that to the piano, like scales, shapes, and patterns. That's how I see music, like as shapes and patterns. So I just kind of apply shapes and patterns to when I'm playing songs, or you know, when I'm playing piano, if my left hand's doing one pattern, you apply that to other songs, then your right hand's doing the other pattern, playing the melody of the song, and I just
That's what
put
I
two.
that's what I struggled with. When I was learning piano, one of my lessons was it was a place called a piece uh
Yeah,
called Patterns itself. The name was Patterns,
yeah,
and it was a time signature 3/4. So it's like 1 2 3, 1 2 3, 1 2.
yeah.
But I was told to my left hand to play 1 2 3, 1 2, and my right hand double. Man,
Oh,
it threw me off. Like,
it does at the beginning. It's just like the hand coordination. You just got to get the hang of it. But I think once you keep going, because even with the guitar, when I was first playing 6 months, I was getting really frustrated.
yeah,
Like just wanted to like sometimes you feel like giving up, and it's just one of them ones. But then I think when you get through that first 6 months, and then everything else just slowly starts to fall into place.
yeah.
So it's one of them ones you just got to keep at it.
That's absolutely amazing, man. Honestly, it's a pleasure talking to you, dude. So from there, how did you get onto the production side?
You know what? Production was before any of the guitar stuff because I used to try and download this program for Fruity Loops.
Yeah, no Fruit Loops. Yeah,
I actually didn't know what I was doing on it, to be honest. I was just trying to figure stuff out. And the whole beat making thing, I always used to love it, and all that kind of stuff. Growing up, seeing like Bhangra producers like Bally Dr. Zeus, um, and just trying to like emulate that. But and then I started using Logic when I was about like 21, 22. But I wasn't really doing it too well. I was just kind of, I got to a stage where when I was making music production, putting too much in because I've just had so many ideas. But sometimes less is more. And then last year, I had a track with the Nirmal Sidhu, and I learned from Cam Frantic. So
it's just such a nice guy, Cammy's, isn't it?
yeah, I love Cam.
But
So
he's hard to get hold of. One of the hardest guys to get hold of ever.
yeah, yeah, he is. He's sometimes hard to get hold of, but when he's free, you know,
Yeah,
even the even if it's half an hour or 45 minutes, like
yeah.
the amount that I've learned from a year ago to now is just amazing. And yeah, I tell him that anyway. I tell him that all the time. But he's taught me a lot, and it's been a like privilege to learn from him as well.
Hi guys, this is Raj Kaul. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you want to support the rest of my music, if you could go and check me out on Spotify, on Apple Music, and add my songs to your playlists if you like them. Thank you. How did you get in touch with Cam Frantic?
To be honest with you, I've been trying to get a hold of Cam for a few years. I think I told him once that I emailed him, but I think he was saying something with his emails, something was up with his emails. But I just contacted him, to be honest. I just called him and said, I wanted to learn like music production. And when we done the first track with Nirmal Sidhu, I just like learned so much from him. And then from there, it's even like when I'm mixing my stuff, he's taught me how to mix my stuff as I've got a confident. I wasn't really confident. Like I was having ideas. I'm thinking like, is this good? Is that good? Questioning myself. And then when I've just recently made my EP, I've just been completely free. And it's nice when you have like a teacher like that who you can go and show your music to and get advice from, that actually like the technical side, that maybe this could sound better, or maybe that can sound better, things like that. And it just really made me like sit down, listen to my music, mixing it properly as well.
You're taught by the best. You're honestly taught by the best.
Yeah, and he's the best, to be fair. He's one of the best producers, and lovely guy as well.
Yeah, it's Cam's friend. Like when I met Cam, it's just if you can get him, if you can get hold of him, he's just gold, isn't he?
Yeah. Exactly.
So your first song, "All I Want Is You," I mentioned it earlier. How did that come about, and the vocalist as well?
That was just me actually like looking for R&B, because I always wanted to make like an R&B song. That's like me looking for R&B vocalists on like Instagram, social media, dropping messages, and literally just getting a vocal and just trying to. Actually, I think when I done that one, I made the beat, and then I had like an idea for the vocal line, which I composed on the keyboard, and then I sent it to the singer, and then because I'm not a songwriter or anything like that, so he just wrote lyrics to it, and then I just made the beat. That was just pretty much, that was done while I was still, I think, learning music production. I think you're still learning now, but that was when I was quite like I was just trying to like make music at that point, but like not knowing so much about the techniques and all that stuff behind it. It was just me just being completely free, to be fair, and just trying to make an R&B song.
That's a really good song for your first song.
Thank you.
Yeah. Did you mix it yourself as well, or someone else?
That one was mixed by someone else, another mix engineer which I found online as well. Because I didn't really know that many people in the music industry, so sometimes you just look online for contacts and stuff. So that was when I was a bit younger and so I didn't really, just found someone online for that.
Did you when you all these songs released independently, or are they on a label?
Independently. Everything's independently with me. Even like my recent EP is all independent. Yeah.
So how did you find that? Because think about it, you've got all these big singers on your album as well, and especially Bhangra ones and stuff. So how do you it's a lot of work, isn't it? Because I'm an independent artist as well. So yeah. Could you talk about that, your journey as because you've got no label behind you, you've funded all this yourself?
Yeah, I think once you release the music, then you realize that you got to sit down on the laptop and send emails and stuff, and send your songs out to people, and then sometimes you get replies back, but you just got to keep going. I think that's the side where obviously if you're independent, and then you got to think about because I make, even when I'm doing like my cover art, I make some of that myself as well. So I'm just literally doing for everything from
really.
So I think it's a good thing to learn as well. You learn different things, you get contacts, but I think you just got to put yourself out there, I think. And I think if it's good music, I think it will reach its destination.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you do hear good songs and you might think it hasn't reached where it needed to, and there are loads of songs especially now with there's like so many songs every day being released, and a lot of good songs get, pushed down under. But it doesn't mean that it's not good music. It's just sometimes, these days with TikTok algorithms and everything like that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely fighting the algorithm, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Constantly.
But it doesn't necessarily mean it's not good music. So
Yeah.
I got to keep at it. And
I think I heard your from was it BBC Introducing
yeah,
with the other now.
particular.
Yeah, Pretty. Yeah, Pretty's amazing. She's really,
Yeah,
really cool.
lovely as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's to be fair, like Pretty's pretty cool in the fact that she helps a lot of artists out
Yeah.
starting off, and there's not many people like that in the industry.
Yeah, and I think we need that because then like it helps like independent artists, it gives them the confidence that, to keep making music as well. Because sometimes you can get disheartened and you feel like you want to stop and stuff like that if it hasn't reached. But people like Preeti Kura, they I mean, she's helped me, get on BBC Introducing and all that kind of stuff. And she's lovely as well. So it's really cool to know people like that as well.
Was there a time when you felt disheartened in music?
Um, I think it's like a journey, to be fair. So you get some good days and bad days. Like sometimes you might make a song and you might think it's the best thing in the world. Then you wake up the next morning and think it's completely rubbish. It's one of them. So I think it's always a journey. But I think I just got a passion for it, to be honest with you. And no matter what, I think even when I was younger, like I used to say, like even if I was working in a music shop, I'm happy because it's to do with music. It does, as long as it's to do with music, like that's my favorite subject. And it's a shame like I didn't pick them subjects in school because of like my shyness and all that kind of stuff. But like yeah, I just love music, to be fair. So I think I'll just keep at it.
I was the same at school. I didn't pick any musical subjects, but it wasn't because I was shy.
Yeah,
More, I think it's your guidance. You just think
yeah,
oh, I want to become a doctor. The Indians
yeah,
used to
yeah.
do.
But I think nowadays, like if I was in school now, I think nowadays seeing like the generation now, I think more free, and then they're happy to pick like different kind of subjects as well. So yeah.
So okay, so the other thing I noticed about your music was you were brave enough to uh do an instrumental album.
Yeah, I think that was like an experiment, to be fair.
Yeah.
It was just me just messing around, to be honest with you. And yeah, I just thought like, because I made instrumental covers and stuff like that, and I always used to get good responses off them. But when I made that one, I wanted to have something of my own composition, uh, like something that I've composed myself. So that,
Yeah.
and obviously like guitar on there, like go down the easy listening route. A lot of people listen to like lo-fi beats, chill songs, and all that kind of stuff. I think that was just me experimenting, to be honest with you, with that as well.
No.
Mm.
That's no, to be fair, it's really cool. So how did you transition from doing Western music? Because your first track was a Western song, and by Western music, I mean by the language and the instrumental music to Punjabi music.
That started with one of my songs called Toll Beat. It was with Jelly Manjeet Puri. He was a
Yeah.
great vocalist and songwriter as well, and musician. It was just me, like literally just trying again, experimenting, just trying something different. Because I've tried that genre. I think I made a drill beat once, and it's just me trying that genre now because I like to make different genres as well. And I like to when I'm doing different genres, I like to study the genre before I make it. So, for example, let's just say if I'm doing a Bhangra track, obviously I like to listen to some Bhangra songs, but then I like to have my own influence in there as well. I like my whole 80s kind of retro vibe and that. And it was just me reaching out to Jelly Manjeet Puri, for a song, and him sending me the vocal and me just working on the beat. To be honest with you, that's how I got into that. And then once I found out that I liked that route, then I just decided to stick to that.
Yeah, that was unbelievable to be fair, because as I said, like I mentioned Jacko and stuff. So that track reminded me of a Bhangra track, but with the 80s Jacko vibe to it.
Yeah, yeah,
That's,
yeah.
I don't know whether you were going for that, but
No,
it
no.
gave those vibes.
Like I said, that comes naturally. So it's just
Yeah.
every time I'm making a beat or something like that bass line, it will just come in my head, and then I like that little funk kind of music.
Oh, it's really cool to be fair, because did you find, like I found when I did experimental music, I do my traditional Bhangra music once every few songs,
Yeah,
but when I came back in the music industry in 2020, so just before lockdown, my music was too out there, because I did, like, my first track was a track called Zord, and it was electronic,
yeah.
lots of synths and stuff, that kind of vibe, but with
Mm.
Punjabi lyrics. What did you find in terms of reception to those kind of tracks? Because these days, when someone asks, like, oh, a Punjabi track, all you hear is like that same hip hop beat, a bit of Tumbi sample. It's quite samey, and if it's not that, it's not accepted almost. Did you
Yeah,
find the same?
yeah, I think that just goes along with the trends. Like obviously, yeah, sometimes you do sometimes want to make a song that just goes with the trend, but then as musicians and artists, you kind of want to fulfill your artist side as well, where you
Hmm.
because it would just get boring making the same kind of song each time, wouldn't it? So I think the reception towards it though, like yeah, no, I think people understand that it's different. But then like sometimes different works as well. You just never know. You don't know until you put it out there. And
Hmm.
yeah, sometimes feedback can be good. Sometimes feedback can be like some people might not like it, which is fine as well, because your music's not gonna it's not gonna appeal to everybody. Like it's just one of these things.
No, I'm a fan of new music. Honestly, it's been great to see something fresh and new as well. So, okay, we've done about over half an hour so far. It's,
Yeah.
it's good to come past. So, tell me about what does a day look like in the life of Pally?
To be honest with you, now that the wedding season has gone down,
Hmm.
I've just been chilling. To be honest, making new ideas. I was literally just I have my little home studio here, so I just make sometimes compose ideas, make beats, or if I'm working on songs, I'll just do that. To be that, and whenever you do music, like I don't know if you know this, feel this as well. Like time just flies. Like it will just be like 3 hours gone. You're like, whoa! Like you go in and it's daylight. You go outside and it's nighttime. It's like,
Yeah.
wow. But yeah, but if it's like wedding season, usually I have loads of sometimes requests from like bride and grooms to learn songs sometimes for weddings. So sometimes time can go like that, rehearsing, learning songs. I'm always practicing, to be fair. In the last couple of weeks, I've not really touched any of my guitar and piano. I just like to have a little rest sometimes as well.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, that's pretty much it. We're doing music and being in the wedding and event industry. That's kind of just takes most of your time from March all the way till October. To be honest with you.
Hmm. So, are you booked at most weekends?
Yeah, most weekends because, like I said, my family also work in the wedding industry as well, so I'm also tied into that as well. So it's most weekends, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Brilliant. So, what have you got planned for the future?
Future is just to keep making music, keep trying to improve, just hopefully trying to get more out there with my music and just see where it goes, to be honest with you. But in terms of like, yeah, just carry on playing at weddings, performing at weddings. I just try and take each day as it comes, to be fair, like as you get older and stuff like that. But yeah, just keep trying to do fresh ideas with music and just keep learning, to be fair. I think you can never stop learning.
Are there any new projects that you can tell us about that are coming soon, or?
Yeah, I'm just working on one or two tracks now. One with a vocalist, Amar Singh is no longer with us at the moment. But yeah, it's like a little Bhangra track. I would kind of think it's like you know, the old school Bhangra tracks that we used to hear in the early 2000s. Like that's the kind of vibe I was trying to, because I'm very nostalgic. I like my like I still listen to some of the old songs, like even with the Bhangra and Punjabi songs, like 90s songs. Like I love the old synth sounds that they used to use in the 90s, like that when you used to be or happy
Yeah.
or so. Sometimes I just try and go for that vibe. It's whatever I'm feeling. To be fine, to
Yeah.
be honest.
To be fair, I love that kind of music. That band era we had, you know, in the 80s, 90s was I don't think we'll ever get that back because
Yeah,
but what I will say is that your music, what I've heard, because you're playing in guitar stuff, you're
yeah.
playing in piano and stuff, you can hear it. You can
Oh,
hear that it's not a sample.
yeah. That's what I think. That's what I try and do. Like, it's obviously when you're playing like yourself, you kind of put your own vibe into it. So you
Yeah.
might having a like putting proper
Yeah.
energy, and that energy can come out through the
Yeah.
song as well, which is a sample is good as well. Like I mean, some samples are good as well. Like, but sometimes the natural like inside here
Yeah,
when
absolutely. Even like your bass riffs and stuff, like they're
yeah,
fresh. You can tell that you can see the organicness
yeah,
of them. Like you can tell that you haven't just gone on Splice and just got a
yeah,
got a bass riff and added it there and over a sample. You can tell you've thought about it and added your funk to it, and that's
yeah.
where the funkiness comes in, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and I think like I think that's the way I still do it. To be fair with you,
Yeah.
I use Splice as well sometimes, but that's just for little
No, of course, yeah, because you can't play everything yourself. Like here,
exactly.
do you know what I mean? Like it's impossible to do that now unless
Yeah,
you've got like a thousand, like a £10,000 budget.
exactly. That's
Yeah, then unless you got that, yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so um, the podcast is about musical excellence. So we'll wrap up now. What advice would you give to anyone who? What would you say musical excellence is to anyone who's the one to learn music, or even to myself?
I would say musical excellence is, you know, continue to keep learning, keep striving, have a goal. If you want to learn an instrument, make sure you're practicing. They normally say the 10,000 hour rule. That's like, you know, but you just got to keep going for it, practicing. Don't give up, and yeah, if you love music, then you just put all your heart and soul into it, and you get all the rewards afterwards.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah.
So, guys, that was Pally Matharu and Matharu. I'll say it properly.
I,
Those English, right? So, where can we follow you on socials? Do you want to let everyone know?
yeah, so you can check me out, Pali Matharu, on Instagram, TikTok at Pali Matharu, YouTube at Pali Matharu as well, and yeah, on all socials, YouTube, everything. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so guys, that was Pally. If you could make sure you check him out on his socials, and if you're watching this or you're on Instagram, you're seeing a reel, make sure you follow us. Make sure you drop a like and a review, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Pally, and stay on air. I'll stop the recording and we'll chat off air as well. All right,
Perfect.
bless you guys, and speak to you later.